The hum of the city had already slowed to a late-night lull by the time I found myself stumbling into the lobby of my apartment building. The marble floors gleamed under the soft glow of dim ceiling lights, and the night guard barely lifted his head from the tiny TV on his desk. It had been a long day, longer than I had planned, and I wasn't sure if it was exhaustion or the subtle buzz of excitement I carried every time I knew I'd see him that made my chest tighten. "Wait up!" A familiar voice called from behind me. I turned, and there he was, Daniel. His stride was unhurried, but his presence always seemed to arrive before he did. Tall, broad-shouldered, and yet carrying this gentle energy that softened the sharpness of his jawline. His hair fell in messy strands across his forehead, and the glint of his half-smile always managed to undo me. "Rough day?" he asked, falling into step beside me as we reached the elevator. "You have no idea," I replied, forcing a smile that I hoped would hide just how much I wanted to lean into him. Daniel was my neighbor, my closest friend in the building, and the person I swore I would never fall for. But life had other plans. We'd been through months of late-night conversations in the laundry room, helping each other carry groceries up the stairs when the elevator broke down, and trading inside jokes that made everyone else feel left out. Somewhere in between, he had become the center of my thoughts. The elevator dinged, and the doors slid open with their usual tired groan. We stepped inside together, the space small enough that our arms brushed as we turned. It was past midnight. No one else would be riding with us. Daniel leaned against the wall, running his fingers through his hair. "You look like you could use a drink. Or maybe a year of sleep," I joked, pressing the button for our floor. The elevator started its steady climb, the hum of machinery filling the silence between us. And then, with a sudden lurch, it stopped. The lights flickered once, then twice, before dimming into the dull glow of the emergency lamp. Daniel straightened, his brows furrowed. "You gotta be kidding me." I pressed the buttons, once, twice, harder the third time. Nothing. We were stuck. "Guess it's just us now," he said, and despite the situation, there was something in his voice, something softer, heavier, that made my stomach tighten. I laughed nervously. "Yeah, lucky me. Trapped in a box with you." He tilted his head, his eyes catching mine in the dim light. "You say that like it's a bad thing." The space between us suddenly felt smaller than it had before. His shoulder brushed against mine, lingering for just a second too long. My heart thudded against my ribs, and I told myself it was a claustrophobia. But it wasn't. It was him. Minutes turned into half an hour. We talked, filling the silence with stories and laughter, pretending the air wasn't growing warmer, that the tension wasn't building in waves around us. He leaned closer, his voice dropping low when he told me about the fight he'd had with his brother earlier that evening, his words tumbling out in honesty he rarely shared. I listened, maybe too closely, maybe with too much attention, because when his eyes met mine again, I felt it, an unspoken truth hovering between us. "You ever think about how weird this is?" he asked suddenly. "What?" "Us, spending all this time together, getting closer." His eyes didn't leave mine. "I mean, sometimes I wonder if it's more than just friendship." The air left my lungs all at once. The hum of the emergency light above us felt like the only sound in the world. I tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. Daniel, his hand brushed mine then, deliberately this time. The touch was light, almost questioning, but it sent a current through me that I couldn't ignore. My fingers twitched, but I didn't pull away. "I don't know if it's a confinement talking," he said, his voice lower now, his face closer. "But I've been thinking about this for a long time." His words pulled the floor from beneath me. "What do you mean?" My voice cracked with both fear and hope. "I mean," he paused, searching my eyes for something, permission maybe. "I like you, more than I should." The silence stretched between us, thick and fragile. My chest ached with all the things I'd wanted to say for months, maybe longer, and in that dim, quiet space, trapped between floors, I found my courage. "I like you, too," I whispered. The shift was instant. Relief softened his features, and before I could take another breath, his hand slid fully into mine, warm and steady. He smiled shy, disbelieving, and then he leaned in. His lips brushed mine in the faintest kiss, tentative but real. The kind of kiss that asks a question and answers it all at once. My heart raced. My body pressed back against the elevator wall as he deepened it. One hand cupping my jaw, the other tightening around my fingers. It was everything I had imagined, and nothing like I expected. Gentle and fierce, desperate and careful all at once. The kind of kiss that rewrites every rule you thought you had to follow. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against mine, and his breath was uneven. We probably shouldn't be doing this here. Then let's keep doing it. I whispered back, surprised at myself. He laughed low and soft and kissed me again. This time longer, harder. The elevator around us disappeared, and all I could feel was him, his body close, his heart beating fast against mine, his hands that held me like I was the only thing keeping him steady. That night, trapped in that elevator, everything between us changed. The kiss lingered like an echo, and even when Daniel pulled back, I could still feel the warmth of his lips against mine. The silence between us wasn't awkward anymore. It was heavy, charged, alive. God, he whispered, running a hand through his hair. I didn't plan for this. Not tonight. Not here. Neither did I admitted, laughing softly, though my heart was still racing. But I'm glad it happened. He exhaled slowly, like he'd been holding it in for years. You don't know how long I've wanted to do that. I swallowed hard, my hand still clutching his. Maybe I do. The corners of his mouth curved into a smile, one that was so genuine it almost undid me. He stepped closer, closing the little space that remained. His fingers brushed along my jawline, tracing it gently as though memorizing every angle. You're shaking, he murmured. Because of you, I whispered back, my voice trembling. He kissed me again, this time with no hesitation, no questioning. His lips moved against mine with growing hunger, pulling me deeper into him. His hand slipped around my waist, anchoring me against his body, while the other tangled in my hair. I melted, letting myself drown in the heat of it, in the taste of him. The elevator was warm, too warm, the air heavy, but I didn't care. His body pressed against mine, and I could feel the thrum of his heartbeat, fast and unsteady, mirroring my own. Every second felt infinite, every touch impossible to forget. When he pulled back for air, he whispered against my lips, I've wanted this for so damn long. Then don't stop, I said, surprising myself again with how much I meant it. His eyes darkened with something unspoken, something that made my knees weak. His forehead rested against mine, his breath hot as he whispered, You have no idea what you're doing to me. I smiled, brushing my thumb across his lower lip. Maybe I do. The words barely left me before he kissed me again, deeper this time. His hands roamed, down my back, across my sides, pulling me flush against him. The closeness was intoxicating, dangerous in the best way. Every second stretched like a lifetime, and I didn't want to end. The small space amplified everything. The sound of our breaths, the quiet groan that escaped his throat, the way my own heartbeat pounded in my ears. I let my hands explore, fingers tracing the line of his shoulders, the firmness of his chest beneath his shirt. He shivered under my touch, and I knew then he wanted this as much as I did. Minutes blurred into something timeless. The world outside didn't exist anymore. It was just us, locked between floors, finding each other in ways we'd never dared before. Eventually, Daniel broke the kiss, breathing hard, his forehead pressed to mine. His thumb traced slow circles on my hip, as if grounding himself. If anyone ever finds out about this elevator ride, he whispered with a grin. I laughed breathlessly. They'll just be jealous. He chuckled, low and warm, before his expression softened. His eyes searched mine with an intensity that made me forget how to breathe. This isn't just some heat-of-the-moment thing for me. I need you to know that. I swallowed hard, my chest tightening at the raw honesty in his voice. It's not for me either. I've been falling for you, Daniel, for months. Something broke in his expression. Relief, joy, disbelief all tangled together. He leaned in, kissing me again, slower this time. Tender, deliberate, a promise instead of question. We stayed like that, talking, kissing, holding each other for what felt like forever, wrapped in a little world of steel and shadows, where nothing else mattered but him and me. And then, with a sudden jolt, the elevator whirred back to life. The lights flickered, the machinery groaned, and the car lurched upward. We pulled apart, startled, both laughing nervously at the timing. "Of course," Daniel muttered. "The universe finally decides to help us. Right when I was happy being stuck with you." I grinned, still catching my breath. "Guess we'll have to continue this outside of an elevator." His hand found mine again, squeezing it firmly. "Count on it." The doors slid open onto our floor, and for a moment we hesitated. Neither of us wanted to break the spell. But then he tugged me gently into the hallway, his fingers never letting go of mine. The corridor was quiet, the world still asleep, but inside me, everything had woken up. Daniel leaned close, his lips brushing my ear as he whispered, "Come to my place. We're not done." My heart leapt, and I nodded without a second thought. That night, the elevator didn't just carry us between floors. It carried us into something new, something we'd both been waiting for, too afraid to admit. And as his door closed behind us, I knew with absolute certainty, being stuck with him had been the best thing that ever happened to me.